What's going on, YouTube? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update today of Bitcoin. Right now we're sitting at $9,811. We're down 3.51%. What I wanted to bring to you today was the price action, which we're going to be looking at, and I also wanted to point out an article that I was reading. And I want to start with the article. And this says Bitcoin has only been above $10,000 for 170 days of its history. And this is beingcrypto.com, and this is by Anton Lucian. I hope I got that right. But basically what he's talking about in this article is the fact that we have only traded up above $10,000 for 170 days out of the 10-year lifespan of Bitcoin. So when I talk about it's important that we break up through $10,000 and hold that as support, this is one of the reasons why I'm talking about that, because it's so significant that we stay up above that and find support on it, not just like yesterday how we broke up through $10,000, almost made it to 10,300, and then we're starting to sell off again today. So we really need to stay up above that, find support on that so that we can continue in this bull market that we're in, at least in the short term. We're in the short term bull market. We're trying to move it into an intermediate term and then hopefully into that longer term. But in my opinion, the first step would be finding support off $10,000 and not dropping back below it. And this says here, as we continue to go on, it says Bitcoin has been above $10,000 before, but not for very long. In fact, the leading cryptocurrency has only been above $10,000 for less than half a year in its entire 10-year history. Every time Bitcoin rises above $10,000, it feels like we're in the waiting room. Will this be the moment it breaks above its all-time highs? Analysts are positive, but we should also be mindful of the fact that Bitcoin has only been above $10,000 for a tiny fraction of its history. 10,000 is definitely a milestone despite being a long way away from Bitcoin's all-time high of $20,000. The leading cryptocurrency has only been above this price point for 170 days since 2019. So I know everybody wants to get to those all-time highs and say, oh, we're at 20,000 again or whatnot, but it's exponentially important that we find support off $10,000 and continue to make strong moves, higher highs and higher lows off that, and not drop back below it. So as we get into Bitcoin today, what you can see is yesterday we closed a very strong candle here. It was a really nice candle, but what we're having today is a sell-off. If we were to close like this, guys, we still have almost 12 hours until the close. I'm doing this very early. This is at 7:26 a.m. Eastern Time. It's February 10th, 2020. But if we were to close like we are right here, this would actually be a bearish engulfing candle that we would be dealing with. We're going to have to wait for the close today. But for me, what I need to see Bitcoin continue to do, since we've put in this inverted head and shoulders, and this head was a beautiful bullish engulfing candle on heavier volume, we need a volume swell. We need increased volume as this trend is going up. I'm not extremely happy with where the volume's at, because you never want to see price going up and volume actually dropping a little bit. That can be an indication that you may start having a sell-off. But what I do like about Bitcoin, we broke through this area that I was looking at for a long time here, and this was at 9,581, and so far we have found support off that. So I don't want to drop below that, and I also don't want to drop below this teal trend line. This teal trend line, I've drawn this now. It's been on my chart for about 2 weeks or so, and that's what I'm paying a lot of attention to. I drew it on the 4-hour time frame, but we're looking at this on the 1 day right now. I want to see us continue to climb up that trend line, and the reason why I say that is because it's not too steep of a trend line. If we get out our trend line angle here and we go from the bottom up to the top, you're looking at about 36 degrees there, so that's no problem. This is a healthy trend to the upside, and as you can see, we've been putting in higher lows. So here's a higher low, here's a higher low, higher low. This potentially could be a higher low before we make that next higher high, and that's what we need to continue to do. But I'm in a Bitcoin position right now, and I'm going to continue to stay in a Bitcoin position until I start seeing trend line breaks down through this trend line right here and candle closes below it, and we start losing these moving averages, because right now we're up above our 20, our 40, our 50, and I also want to turn on our 200 for us here. So with this 200, we don't want to drop back below that as well, because the bulls fought to get back up above that. We made a higher low up above it, and we continued to push on. So if we end up losing that, that could be a terrible sign for us that the bulls were not actually stepping in, and this was not a sustained run, and we're going to have to power back up and try to change the trend again. But that's what I like to look at, are these moving averages. The trend is still up. We're still in our uptrend. We're up above the 200. We're up above the 50. We have a potential golden cross of our 50 up above our 200 that could be coming in the weeks to come here. And we're up above that $9,581. So far things are looking pretty good. And we're just going to see if today, tomorrow, the next day is going to be just one of these sell-offs here where we come back, challenge this trend line, just like over here. After we made a strong push, we had that sell-off for about 5 days, and then we made another push over here. You can see we had that sell-off for about 7 days after we made a nice strong push. So we may just be at that point where we need to cool off the RSI so that we can make that next move to the upside. And the next target that I would look at if we do make a move to the upside, I would look up to around roughly, we'll call it 10,573. Obviously, we're going to have 10,000 psychologically like we just talked about. We need to get up through that and find support off that. So I want to see what we do with this candle today. If it's going to be a nasty bearish engulfing candle or if it's actually going to get bought up throughout the day. It's going to be interesting to see, but you can see how the trend has changed. And now we're getting crosses. We're having a golden cross take place of our 20 EMA over top of our 200, potentially our 40 over top of our 200, and then our 50 over top of that 200. And traditionally, when you read about golden crosses, you'll hear the 50 crossing up through that 200 or a death cross to 50 crossing down through. But the more studying that I've done, it can be any short-term moving average moving over a longer-term moving average, and that's actually what you're having take place here, are these golden crosses over top of that 200. So right now I do believe that today's just going to be a cool-off day. Maybe tomorrow, a couple more days, we're going to have that retracement before we potentially make that next move to the upside, but it's going to need to come on volume, and we're going to need to be able to hold these moving averages. And as I was reading last night, I was reading in my book, it's called Technical Analysis, Getting Started in Technical Analysis, and it was talking all about staying up above the 20 EMA if you're a shorter term trader. So if you're a short term trader or swing trader, you're holding these positions, for a week or whatnot, you want to stay up above that 20, which we're up above right now, and you want to continue to find support off that. It's a very strong trend. The next one I would look at is this 50, which is going to be very important for us. As you can see, when we broke through the 50 right down in here, this was on January 6th, 2020. That kicked everything off. So once our candle close happened, it was at $7,789, and we've went all the way up to $10,200. We'll call it $10,300. So in my opinion, it's significant whenever you close up above that 50-day moving average or you close below it, because a lot of times when you lose that 50-day moving average and you start closing below it, it's hard to get back up above it, and then you can start struggling with some different things in terms of trying to get up above it because it'll act as resistance for you. Now, what I wanted to do next was go into the 4-hour time frame so we get a little bit better picture, and we're still going to be looking at the trend line, and we're also going to be looking at these moving averages. And guys, if you get some from this, you like me covering Bitcoin, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and also tell me down below what you're doing. Are you in a position right now? I'm still in a position. I'm riding my position. I'm sitting there. I have a break-even stop on it. I want to know what you guys are doing. Are you selling out at this point? Do you believe we're going to have a super deep retracement, or do you believe this uptrend is going to continue to the upside and just keep moving, and this is just a normal reaction or retracement? So if we go into our 4-hour time frame here, you can see it's been steady, guys. Each time we make a nice strong move to the upside here, we're always going to have that retracement. Strong move, here's our retracement. Sometimes it can really take some time to retrace, but you can see how this uptrend has been respected. And in terms of the uptrend on the 4-hour here, or moving averages, I want to see us continue to work this 50 moving average. And what I'm going to do is turn off our 20 EMA, and we're going to turn off our 40 just so you can see this a little better. So you can see the trend is still up. We had our golden cross back in here, and that was on January 3rd. And ever since then, we've been moving up. We have not had that downward cross to where we're losing our trend line. We're breaking down through it, as well as this 50 moving average on the 4-hour. So if we start having candle closes below all this, then I would look for that 200 moving average on the 4-hour for us to find support, and that would be around 8,890. I would not want to drop below that because we have been trading up above that now since the beginning of January. So whenever you've been in an uptrend like this for over 4 weeks, you anticipate that it will continue to the upside, because a lot of trends will want to continue once they've went on for 4 weeks, and that's what you'll see with downtrends. You'll see it with uptrends, sometimes even sideways. You can spend a month or more sideways, just like over in here. Yeah, we had some sharp drops down, sharp pumps up, but overall we were really just moving sideways. This was that accumulation area where people were buying that inverted head and shoulders, and then we made that nice strong move to the upside. But the only thing that's really lacking for me, guys, is the volume. I want to see some stronger volume, and also just really watch for those fake pumps and dumps in this space, guys. As you can see over here, we were down around $7,200, and we went all the way up to about 10,585 in the matter of 2 days, 3 days, and then what happened was we actually lost it all. So we started down here at $7,200 and we went all the way down to $6,300. So that's the importance of taking your profit. Whenever you see anything go straight up like that, guys, put in one of those trailing stop losses and just keep moving it up, because anything that goes straight up, as you can see, is going to go straight back down. That just is what it is. Even after these pumps, they go up, and then a lot of the times they'll lose over half of that retracement. And I want to do that quick with you. I want to do a little micro fib here just to show you what we're looking at. So from this pump here up to this move, you were looking at about to that 0.5 retracement for that Fibonacci. And what I like to do is take each one here and just kind of see in these little mini fibs. So we'll take that up. That one bounced off the 0.382. So that's the thing. When you really look at this, guys, there's similar places that we continuously get a bounce from. So right now we're sitting on the 0.382. So I'd look for a bounce from here, or I'd look down around that 9,656. That 0.5 could be a really good area, because that's correlating right up here with that 50 moving average on the 4 hour, and it's also riding up this trend line. So that definitely could be a spot that we get our next bounce on. But in my opinion, right now we're just having those healthy retracements. We really have to gear back up, make that higher low so that we can go up and make that higher high. And then on the RSI for the 4 hour, we are sitting at 47 right now. So we have cooled down enough to make that next move whenever the bulls are ready to step back in. And then if we look at this here, these are the higher lows that I want to see respected. So I'll actually take it all the way from back here, guys. You can go up just like that. So I don't want to be dropping down through this. So you could do that trend line right in there, or you can make it smaller and just look at this area right in here. And we'll bring this up, try to get some touches there, and we'll see if we drop down through this, or if this is going to be an area where we find support and make that next move to the upside. And as you can see, we can get very overextended up into the 80s here on the RSI, and then to the downside, obviously we can get extremely low. We've been down to around 6 or 7 before when we were hitting that inverted head and shoulder. So things can get very overextended both to the upside and the downside in the space, and you just really want to protect yourself. But right now the trend still is up. What we are lacking is volume. We really need more buying pressure, in my opinion, to continue this move to the upside. Otherwise, we could just really start breaking back down to the downside. We'd have to start looking at some of those areas, that $9,600, and then I'd look down around that $8,890. So if you guys get some from this, I wanted to make it a shorter one for you. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I appreciate you all being here with me today. Let me know, are you in a Bitcoin position? Are you looking for that a little bit more retracement before you jump in? Or do you feel that this uptrend is weak because of the lack of volume, and we're just going to start rolling back over, and this is just going to be some overall macro lower high? So let me know down below, guys. I appreciate hearing all your opinions, and I'll try to get back to the comments as soon as possible. Take care. God bless.